So for today's video, I'm going to be building a bowl made out of scrap wood. And I got the idea when I was watching this YouTube video from YouTubers Jennie and Davis. And in their video, they proposed this challenge where you buy a box of scrap wood from them that comes from their cutting board business. And in return, you make some sort of project that utilizes their scrap wood. And scrap wood's the main focus of the project. And you have a chance to win a $250 gift card to either Lowe's or Home Depot, as well as be shouted out on the YouTube channel. Spoiler alert, I didn't win the challenge, but I did get a shout out on the YouTube channel, which was pretty cool. Anyway, in the box I got a bunch of scraps of walnut, some maple and cherry wood strips, and 2 serving boards. And I've decided I'm going to make my bowl out of these serving boards because they have the most meat. Anyway, off to the wood shop. Alright, let's get started here. Get these strips out of the way. I'm only going to be needing these cutting boards today. Now the first step here is going to be to take my cutting boards and rip them down the middle. So to do that, I'm going to resaw them on the bandsaw. And after resawing, I'll have 4 halves, and then I'll cut those again into equal pieces and stack them up and make my chunk to turn on the lathe. Now over at the bandsaw, I happen to have the wrong blade in. The blade in it's just too small for resawing purposes. And I have this big beefy 7/8 inch wide blade that'll be perfect for this. So now I'm just doing the process of changing the old blade out, put in my new one. Here's me trying to fold the blade. As you can see, first try, definitely wasn't edited. Now I'm just undoing my new blade and inspecting it, and looks like it should be good to go. And the big thing here is you just want to make sure that your blade is in the right position on the big pulleys, as well as on the right position on your guides or rollers, whatever your saw happens to have. Here you just see me tensioning the blade to the right tension, checking squareness, and that should do it. Now after this first cut, I had let it get a little wonky, so I'm actually doing a little bit of an adjustment to see if I can get a straighter cut on this next one. Now let's just have a look at these two. And you can see that one, it's my first one, not very good. It's still salvageable, but not my best showing. And here's the second one, and you can see it was a lot better, made a better effort of holding it straight. And right here I'm just kind of trimming some of the excess off that first one to save me some time on the planer down the road. Now here I'm cutting my pieces into 8-inch wide by 8-inch wide squares, and I'll have 8 chunks, and these will be then glued together in alternating fashion to create my blank. It will give me sort of a pseudo-chaotic pattern. Now I'm just getting my pieces arranged and glued to these plywood runners so I can run them through the planer and get them nice and flat. So that way I have a nice square glue up, and hopefully my blank won't blow apart when I start turning it on the lathe. Yeah, situations like this, CA glue really shines. I don't know how you could really do this any other way. And after getting a ballpark of approximate thickness of these chunks, let's go over to the planer and make these suckers flat. Yeah, on these first few passes, you've seen me kind of having to pull it through because it's not actually biting off enough material to pull it through the planer. But now I'm just breaking the planks off of the CA glue, kind of cleaning up some of the plywood that's still stuck to the boards, and getting ready to sand them and glue them. Move all this out of the way and start my favorite part. Yay! Lots of sanding. And through the magic of editing, get these suckers glued up. Now I didn't have a big enough circle to actually trace an 8-inch circle on here. So I'm just kind of using this sanding disc as a template to just kind of give me an idea of what it would look like with the corners cut off, and just going to trim it up on the bandsaw and prep it for the lathe. Here I am just swapping out the chuck and adding my center so I can start this by turning between centers. And one thing I didn't show off camera was I marked my center lines and got it ready to sit between the centers. Just starting out, I'm just sitting here with a bowl gauge at some smaller speeds, just slowly carving away till it starts to become round and have a lot less chatter. And as you can see, as it's starting to get more and more round, I'm starting to get bigger and bigger chips, less dust and chatter, and it's just turning into a much easier project to carve. It was at this point that I decided it's time to break in my only carbide tool and really move some wood. Yeah, you can just see the chips just totally fly off this tool. It's amazing what a sharp tool really does when you're working on a lathe like this. Right here, I'm just starting to turn down the end into a tenon so I can swap to my 4-jaw chuck and stop turning between centers. And again, you're just seeing me check the size and keep turning it down until it fits. Well, now that I got my blank into the chuck, let's start turning down the bowl profile and start carving out the inside. Now, right here, I noticed just a little imperfection and realized there was a chip missing out of the side. That's why you saw me come back in and touch it up with the tool. And now I'm back to progressing my way up the grits. And each time I'm just going up a few grit at a time, starting at 60 grit and going to 60, 120, 180, 220, 300, 400, 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and finally 3,000 grit. You can see that the bowl is almost shining by the time it's pretty much polished by the time I hit 3,000 grit. Then I just finish it off with a nice homemade beeswax and mineral oil finish, which seems to do this wood wonders. Now is for the final test and see if this baby can hold some keys. Thanks for watching.